My name is Marin Sardy. I am a writer, and I just published a memoir this past May called The Edge of Every Day, Sketches of Schizophrenia. It's a memoir of the mental illness that runs in my family, which is schizophrenia. It tells the story of my mother, who lives with a form of the illness, as well as of my brother, who had schizophrenia until he passed away several years ago. I wanted to share with people what it's like to experience schizophrenia from within a family, how it shapes families, often injures families, but also how families can be resilient in the face of it. So as someone who is a daughter of someone with schizophrenia and a sister of someone who had schizophrenia, the main things that I see in terms of the way society sees it versus my understanding, my experience with it is people fear it because they don't know anything about it, they don't know what it is, and because we have a history in our culture of telling stories about schizophrenia that are not true and that generate fear. As well as people often have a complete lack of awareness of how serious an illness it is and how much of a problem people encounter when they're trying to seek help for schizophrenia, when they're trying to get help for their loved ones. Finding effective care, consistent care, all of these things are often very challenging, and people don't even know that those are problems that exist. So often when I was growing up, I felt invisible as someone who had this in our family. And the fact that it wasn't talked about, nobody ever directly said to me, you're not allowed to talk about schizophrenia. But I felt that I wasn't allowed to talk about schizophrenia. It just wasn't spoken about, and there just seemed like no way to bridge the gap. So, a big motivation for me in writing my book was to start to create a bridge for that gap, to give people permission to share what they have seen and what they feel and what they know. I've really had an incredible response to the book. I've received messages from all kinds of people, people who don't know me at all, but who send me notes online, find me through social media or something, and say that they really relate to the story and they really appreciate having their feelings articulated, and as well as having mental illness talked about in a way that, that doesn't stigmatize it and doesn't generate fear.